Hey guys, it's me, TMD's Hype here on the second channel, and welcome back to some more Forza Motorsport 7, where today we are taking on a brand new series where I am going to be reviewing the stock cars in Forza Motorsport 7. Now, what this includes is every single car in the game, pretty much. What you're seeing now is the Ford Fiesta ST being taken around the Suzuka track on its hot lap. Now, we'll get into detail in a minute, but you're just going to watch this Fiesta go around. We've got 10 cars in this episode because we needed to set up a leaderboard. If we just did the first car and the second car, it wouldn't have really much competition. So I sent 10 tracks around the Suzuka full circuit, which allowed me to get a leaderboard and also let me make rules and stuff for the series. So obviously there's not going to be many rules for a series like this. It's just going to be the amount of practice I get with each car, I have to make them stock and that. So, at the minute we can't use the rent-a-car system, so it's any car that I have in my garage already, which means they're all homologated, so I have to reset all the upgrades on them, and then I will use them all stock. Now this Ford Fiesta is in like D class, which is very, very, very slow. Yes, obviously it is. And around Suzuka, it's not going to be the fastest car in the world. Definitely not. But what you've got to remember as well is that there'll be faster cars in this series. Now, each car here gets 5 laps around the Suzuka circuit for practice. Now, when it comes to a normal video, when we're reviewing a car, I'll drive it around in many other circuits so you can see it while I'm describing it and explaining the car to you and its pros and cons and stuff. But then we'll get 5 laps around Suzuka, which you won't see as practice, just so we're not always on Suzuka and we get other cars as well. Now, so all the cars in this video at the minute have only had 5 laps, so they are at a slight disadvantage, but it's really not hard to get used to the cars that I was using. Now, this Ford Fiesta, yeah, it's pretty slow. We've just come out of Spoon onto the long straight. Now, this was getting about 120 miles an hour, which, yeah, it's pretty fast for a road car, but it's not the fastest thing, and also it is front wheel drive, which means it has a plethora of understeer. It just understeers like mad and just trying to get out of it, or out of all the corners. So here we are coming to the second to last corner. Now we're coming around the final corner. We do need to find all the names for the Suzuka circuit. I recorded all the game clips yesterday and I'm recording this audio in the morning. Now basically, Suzuka, why I chose Suzuka is because it is just a very overall very good circuit. But anyway, the lap that the Ford Fiesta got puts it into last place, which then gives it a time of a 2:51.456. Yeah, it's pretty slow. It's about a 2-minute lap, 2.5 minute lap for a normal car and stuff. So yeah, the next car I took around was the Audi Q7. I went to take this car around because we will be testing the likes of the SUVs in this series, so we needed an SUV to put around the circuit, so we knew what speed it would do, and I had the Q7 in my garage already. If you haven't seen the episode on it for the Forza Drivers Cup, which we'll be getting back to very, very soon, yeah, I didn't like this car much, and I think it was just the way I upgraded, because when I was driving it here, it did feel very, very quick. It's a C class, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I've not wrote any of this. When it comes to it, we will have all the stats and figures for it. It's just for now, I didn't have enough time to do it. I wanted to get this recorded and uploaded as soon as possible because I was wanting to do this series. Also, I want to start this series now because around about November and December time is when the first DLC pack will come out for Forza Motorsport 7, so I'm getting some cars on the leaderboard now for when the DLC cars come out, and we can compare them to the cars that we have in the game standard. But anyway, the Q7, it is very heavy, very SUV-like. It is very, very, it looks very, very comfortable and, like, very nice and luxurious, to be honest. But it's not fast. It's got a lot of weight. The full name of it is the Audi Q7 V12 TDI. And I mean, if it's a V12, how do you get so little power out of a V12? It's got like 300 horsepower. So, yeah, it's not really that powerful. But you know, it's an SUV, it's not meant to be going fast. I'm racing it, which is out of its comfort zone. Also, you will see all these replays in the replay cameras, because I'm gonna be recording it and then do my audio over it afterwards, so you can get some good views so you're not seeing everything from first person. But we're just coming around Spoon in the Q7 now. It looks quite composed actually, and it was very, very quick. With its all-wheel drive, it could pull itself out the corners very, very quickly and just kind of do well. But again, this car wasn't very fast on that straight. Oh, also, why I came to Suzuka, I forgot to completely explain that, because it has the straights which the higher powered cars will get their speed up to, and on the car at the top of this, it's got to at least 200 miles an hour on that straight. And also on the start finish straight, it's got some good acceleration zones. But you see here, it's got some tight slow speed corners, so the higher powered cars will do worse because they're going to be sliding about everywhere. And it also has the medium speed corners like this one and Spoon and all that, and which will really test the car's handling, test the car's composure, the grip, and all of that. So this is why Suzuka is a very, very good circuit. Now, the Audi Q7 got a whopping time of a 250.122, which leaves it a second, just over a second faster than the Ford Fiesta. But this is a whole class above it, above the Ford Fiesta, so you know, yeah, it's the weight is what's really dragging it down. Anyway, our next car we are coming to is the Chrysler 300 SRT8. Now, why did I take the Chrysler? Nobody likes Chrysler. Well, personally, I really, really like this car. I don't know why, I really, really like it. And also, we needed some, like, sedans to go around. And the Chrysler I thought was a very good competitor, because it's got a V8, it's got 4 doors, it's got 4 seats, it's rear-wheel drive, so it's going to be compared to the likes of BMWs and Audis and stuff like that. Because we were taking sedans around here to test their speed around here. Obviously, they aren't built for racing. I mean, the BMW M4 GTS is, but some of them are, some of them aren't. But we'll be testing them. And now this Chrysler is a lot more powerful than the past 2 cars we've got that have gone, but it still has quite a bit of weight. And the Chrysler does sound pretty good. I won't lie, it does sound pretty good. But the only issue, well, a couple of the issues with the Chrysler is it just doesn't have the rear end grip. It's not very composed around this circuit. It slides around a lot. It kind of spins its wheels out the slower speed corners. You've got to keep it in the high gears to make sure it doesn't spin its wheels. Now this corner specifically, in testing for the Chrysler, was, oh, it was horrible. It would come to the corner and it would just, the back end would just go. Yes, it looked very, very cool, but it's not very good for lap speed. Now all these cars have 5 laps, like I said, but then they get 1 lap for the timed lap. They get 1 lap, and that definitely comes to show the practice with the car, and it makes it more equal, because if they only get 1 lap, then they're not going to get the best lap out of the couple of laps that I can do with them. So yeah, I mean, there is the bit of disadvantage where I might crash. But if I do have a massive crash, I will reset the lap, because that's just gonna not really comparing the car, just comparing my driving skills, which might be a bit horrific. But yeah, current speed I was doing about 160. So yeah, it was very, very faster. And yeah, and the brakes were pretty terrible on this car because it's heavy and it was going pretty fast. But coming out these slow speed corners, I did eventually get down the corner, but you can see it's sliding a bit. And coming around the second to last corner, I got the briefest of scares, because I always race in first person because it's the best I was doing. And there's that tyre bundle where the pit lane starts, and I nearly hit it. I was like, oh my god, and it's like, it was crazy. But anyway, the Chrysler 300 SRT8 got a lap time of 240.947, putting it into 3rd to last place and to 8th place, which is 10 seconds faster than the Audi Q7, and I did instantly crash it as soon as I finished the lap. And there you can see it's sliding. That's that if you push the car, it just slides. And yeah, it looks cool. It's the car from Breaking Bad, but not very good for lap speed. Anyway, coming on to our next vehicle, we are taking the Lancia Stratos HF Group 4. Now, you must be thinking, why on earth are we taking the Lancia? Well, because we need to test out the rally cars in this game as well, and I thought what's other than best than to take the Lancia Stratos round. And boy, was it very, very difficult to drive around a circuit, because it's rallyfied, and it's like and it's obviously older, and it's rally. It's got very, very soft wallowy suspension. You will see it move around a bunch on its suspension, and that is an issue when you're coming to race, because as you're getting on the brakes, the front dives onto the ground, and then you've got to turn onto that. So then one corner is really planted into the ground, the other is lifting itself up, and it doesn't help when you're trying to steer on a circuit, and that really scuppered the Lancia. And also the Stratos, which I forgot about, was rear-wheel drive. Yeah, because I usually always convert mine to four-wheel drive because I'm for rallying, but standard, this thing's rear-wheel drive, and it has like 400 horsepower. I mean, it has quite a bit of grip, but you can get it sliding pretty easily. As you can see, coming out of the hairpin, that's a really nasty hairpin, because you've got to come up and then you've got to get accelerated through the corner as it's going uphill. It's fun, but it's really difficult. So yeah, and also this Lancia, like I said, it's got really wallowy suspension, so it really cannot do well. It's not the worst car I've ever driven. I've driven on this list a lot worse cars than this, but it was pretty difficult to drive. And then, coming out of Spoon, you can get accelerated really fast, but about halfway down, because it's a rally car, it has shorter gear ratios, you're sitting there buzzing the limiter at only 159 miles an hour. Like, that isn't fast, and you're sitting there buzzing the limiter. I mean, you can take that corner after the straight pretty quickly because it's got enough grip to do it, but it doesn't really do very well. The brakes were phenomenal. They do stop the car very well. Coming out these final couple of corners, it's obviously planted and can get accelerated very quickly. And then again, coming around the final corner and coming up to the finish line, it's buzzing the limiter once more. I was getting fed up of hearing that noise. But anyway, the Lancia Stratos HF Group 4 gets a lap time of only a 2:37.084. And I say only because that's only 3 seconds faster than the Chrysler. But it puts it into 7th place, and if you haven't found out yet, we are going up in the thingy. So the Ford Fiesta was 10th, the Audi is 9th, the Chrysler's 8th, the Lancia is 7th. And here is our next vehicle, the 2012 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1. Now, I've always thought this thing was spelled with an E, but in fact it's spelled with an A. So I've either pronounced it wrong my entire life, saying Camaro, or it is pronounced Camaro and just spelled wrong because it's American. But we needed another muscle car. We needed a muscle car that wasn't meant to be a family car. Obviously, the Chrysler was more of a muscle family car, and this is just a muscle car, and I hadn't taken any around, and I was there like the last 2 cars, and I was like, I'm not taking any muscle cars around, so I decided to take the Camaro around. Now this thing drives incredibly. I loved how this thing drove. It's got a lot of front end grip, so a lot of rear end grip. Obviously if you're more, and you can get it sliding really easily. It's got 500 something horsepower, rear wheel drive, stock tyres, so it's not got the most rear end grip, but it's pretty good. Now, when I was driving this, the first thing I did was spin it. I won't lie, I completely underestimated how much oversteer this thing would have. And I managed to crash it a couple of times, because it is very powerful and it's very fast. And obviously if you're pushing it to its maximum, it's going to oversteer. You see me coming out of the uphill hairpin there, it bursts into wheel spin, because it just can't deal with the amount of power it's got, which is obvious. It's a muscle car. It's not going to have the best traction. It's not going to have the best suspension. It's not going to have the best anything, because it's made in America, and also muscle cars aren't built for racing. But the Chevrolet Camaro did very well. Coming out of Spoon, we got it sliding again, but it's very easy to get back under control, and this thing looks amazing. The front end looks cool. The rear end looks amazing. The car looks really cool in red. Obviously I could have painted it like Bumblebee, but where would the originality be in that? Now on this straight it got to about 170, so you know it's faster than what we've taken around before. And yeah, its brakes were pretty good actually, because obviously the muscle car's got a bit more weight than a normal car would, but it's got a massive V8, but its brakes were pretty good. And coming out of the second to last corner, we could get it accelerating through the corner, and this thing also sounded amazing. And that left the Camaro with a lap time of 2:31.226, putting it into 6th place on the leaderboard, which is a good 6 seconds faster than the Lancia Stratos. So yeah, it was very good. It was very nice to drive. I enjoyed driving it a lot. And yeah, I definitely recommend giving it out a try if you haven't already. But anyway, our next car is surprisingly the Audi R8 V10 Plus. And if you've been listening to me for the past like 15 or so minutes, you'll realise that this list is going from bottom to the top. So that puts the Audi R8 into 5th place on the leaderboard. And you must be thinking, how did the hell did a car beat the Audi R8? It's got all-wheel drive, it's got amazing power, but as you can see, it does not have the grip. It does not have the grip whatsoever. It's so easy to get this thing sliding. You push this thing even a tiny bit near its limit, and it will slide. You have to be so careful with this car. And I drove it a lot in Forza Horizon 3, and it's nothing compared to what it drives like in this game. In Forza Horizon 3 it has loads more grip. In this game it doesn't. It's like driving on ice. It basically, you put any power down through a corner, it's sideways. You try and accelerate out of a corner, it's sideways. You've got to be so careful, and it astonished me because the old R8 drives amazingly. I love driving the old R8, the 2008 model I think it is in this game. The old R8 is genuinely a really nice car to drive, whereas this, its brakes are amazing obviously, but its turning and its grip is terrible. It just oversteers like a madman. You can see there, it gets so unsettled. You've got to have so much counter lock, like you can't take much speed because it just wants to slide out. If I have no doubt we will take the old R8 around the track later on in the series, and it will get a faster lap time, I bet, than this one. And yeah, I mean, the new R8, it's got incredible brakes. It looks incredible. It looks like some next Transformer. It does look very good. It sounds incredible as well, but it just doesn't drive well. It doesn't. Well, no, it drives well. It doesn't race well. And they're obviously two different things. But I had to make sure I was getting come off that back straight we're doing about 180. You have to make sure you are getting it slowed down, because if you try and take that 180, which the car can do, it can take out 180, but you get the biggest slide going, but you can stay on the track. So I thought best off brake, get accelerated out the corner, because it'd be faster than sliding it around all over the place. But yeah, it's got good acceleration obviously because four-wheel drive's got about 600 horsepower. But the Audi R8 got a lap speed of a 2:26.307, pointing into 5th place, which is 4 seconds faster than the Camaro, and that's already made a 25-second gap to 10th place, which is that Fiesta. But yeah, as you can see here, get it sliding all over the show, and it's not very composed. Anyway, our next car that we are taking around, and no, your ears aren't deceiving you, the audio is actually working for this replay. We took round a Formula E, and I was curious because this thing only has 200 horsepower, 263 I think it is, but it only weighs about 1,000 pounds, so I was curious. This car obviously has an amazing power to weight ratio, but it doesn't have the power to get it accelerated and stuff. It is rear wheel drive, so yeah, and I know I shouldn't be saying this, but this thing is incredible. It is genuinely incredible. I've driven the Formula 1 car in this game, and it is a beast to drive. You need to have the utmost concentration when driving it, because otherwise you're just gonna crash. Whereas this thing, it's got so much grip. It can get itself accelerated. It's incredible to drive, and it's amazing, and it's a Formula E. And I've always been like, Formula E. But no, the Formula E car is really nice to drive, and you get such a sense of accomplishment when you get it around the corner, and you can hear the fact that you're getting no wheel spin because there's no engine noise. I mean, there is an engine noise. It's whining. It sounds like either just a supercharger on its own or an alien coming down in its UFO. But yeah, this thing has incredible brakes, and because it's electric, it has incredible acceleration. But because it's electric and it only has 260 something horsepower, it does not have top speed. This thing on this back straight only gets to about 150 miles an hour, and that is not fast. That is not fast at all. But I was curious to see how it would go around the Suzuka track, because I know the Formula 1 come here. I don't know if the Formula E come here because I don't watch Formula E, I watch the Formula 1. So I thought I may as well take it around the circuit. I know this isn't, I can't remember if this is the GP circuit or not. I mean, this is the full circuit. I don't know if they race it in Formula 1. Yeah, the Formula E, it gets a bit of a slide coming out there, and one thing you'll find is you see how it got that twitch in the middle of the corner. Is when you shift up through a corner, the rear end goes. It just slides out, and I couldn't really tame that because it wasn't a thing that I could change. But the Formula E got a lap time of a 2:23.011. That is 3 seconds faster than an R8 with about triple the amount of horsepower. Like, that is how good this thing drives. It is genuinely an amazing car to drive, and it looks cool. I really like the look of this thing, and yeah, it's very, very good. Obviously, you can get it sliding there. I got an amazing picture of that thing when it got sideways. Anyway, we move on to the worst car to drive by far. Not just on this list, this is the worst car I've ever had to drive. Genuinely, it is the Lotus 311. I thought we'd take some track cars around to see how they would compare to the normal cars. Obviously, we'd have to take them round. This car is horrific. It's so unbelievably twitchy, unbelievably oversteery, and it was so hard to get a lap out of this thing without it sliding. I couldn't even do it after. I had the biggest crashes in this thing. I rolled it on the first lap of my practice because it got sideways and it went onto the grass. It rolled. I managed to spin it on the start-finish straight, coming out out the final corner. It did not like the slow speed corners. It did not like the medium speed corners. It did not like that corner, the high speed corner, and the brakes. Well, the brakes were good because it doesn't weigh anything. I mean, the car looks cool, but it just drives horrifically. You get massive twitches through corners. You are never really confident in this car because you know, like there, you just burst into massive amount of oversteer, and I can predict that we'll see a lot of cars oversteering on that uphill thingy. But you see there, it got a massive twitch coming through that corner. I had to try and save it, but then I had to turn in as well, and it got a huge twitch, and then an oversteering moment, and then it slowed the car down. Coming through Spoon, it's terrifying. You got a massive twitch there. You saw that then, the twitch, and then you got the oversteer, then you got to try and save it, and then you get a massive twitch again, and then you're off the track. Obviously, when it goes over there, it's not going to be the biggest deal ever. It's not going to lose speed because you're still technically on the track, you're not on the grass. This car could accelerate to about 160 miles an hour, but that was an incredibly terrifying 160 miles an hour. Then you had to get it massively brake to get through that corner coming off the straight because it would just oversteer. I tried taking that flat out in like the third lap of my practice. I spun it, and then I outbraked myself because I thought it had better brakes than it did, but it didn't. And yeah, it can go pretty fast on the track. Don't get me wrong. It goes and puts itself into third place, but it's just not a very fun car to drive. It's terrifying. And like I said, it puts it into third place, which is a 2:22.041, which is just 1 second slower than the Formula E. And I was so fed up with this car, I rolled it because I hated it, and then I just got on with the rest of the lap. Just fully flinged it. But yeah, we are into the top 3 now. So what is second and what is first? Well, second place is the BAC Mono. This was the second track car we took round because I thought the Lotus 311's terrible, and I know the BAC Mono can drive very, very well. And by God, was it a change to get from that Lotus 311 to the BAC Mono, the BAC Mono. This thing is incredible. It does sound pretty cool as well. It looks stupid because it's just built for a track. It's got so much grip though, so much acceleration, so much turning response, so much everything compared to the Lotus. I had so much confidence with this thing. I was pushing it to its maximum potential. I was getting perfect corners for days when I was racing it with this car. It genuinely does just drive so incredibly well. And you can come through here. You can carry so much speed. And through here you can carry, like, I think this car can carry like 110 miles an hour. You see, I got a bit of a slide out because everything would. But this car can take about 100 miles an hour through this corner. Yeah, you find yourself out a bit wide, but you can take it so much quicker than everything else because of its track orientated focus, and it's incredible. I loved driving this thing. It had so much grip, and I'm pretty sure this is the car. I won't spoil it yet. But we come up to Spoon. You can accelerate through Spoon because it's got so much grip and so much turn response. And this car is probably the tamest car we drove today while I was filming this, because the Fiesta, yeah, it's a low amount of horsepower, but it wheel spun for days. The Q7, I mean, that Q7 didn't get a slide on, so I mean, yeah. But this car could accelerate to about 170 miles an hour, okay? And it took 170 miles an hour around that corner. I don't know where it finds the grip, because it doesn't have a wing, it doesn't have any of that. It's just aerodynamics and the way the body's built, and it could carry so much speed around the corner coming out the straight, and it could carry so much speed through the slower speed corners. This car is incredible, but it's only in second place, and that means there is something faster. The BAC Mono gets itself a time of a 2:20.292, which is 2 seconds faster than the Lotus 311 and 3 seconds faster than the Formula E. Now, there is one thing we have not took around this track up to now, and that is a super/hypercar. And obviously, we needed to take one so we knew what it was like. So, I took the Koenigsegg 1-1. Now, this thing is incredible. We was doing about 180 coming up to this corner, and it broke, and it could brake and get slowed down much quicker than a lot of the other cars could at only doing about 100. The only issue with this car is it is not very grippy, and you must be thinking, why is he calling it a grippy when it's one of the most grippy cars in the world? What I mean is, for this track, with this car you're in like a lot of first gear and second gear corners, and obviously as you're trying to get accelerated, it's gonna obviously spin its wheels up a lot. And that's where this car lost a lot of its time, because it wasn't able to get out the slow speed corners because of how much power it had. But everywhere else, the brakes you saw there was phenomenal. It got itself slopped. There was a bit of a lock up, but I got it unlocked and ready for the next to slow down, obviously. And then coming through here, got miles and miles of acceleration, and coming up here on my first practice, it was terrifying, because I'm there like, you're gonna have so much grip, get around the corner and like, I'm gonna start accelerating, put a bit too much accelerator on, and I get backwards. But this car is so stupendously fast, and it can accelerate through Spoon. But I'm gonna have to cut my commentary here, because I need to tell you guys, if you like this video, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Obviously, we'll be covering more reviews on this channel every single week, hopefully, and it should be a bit of fun. But yeah, I just gotta do my outro here, because at the end of the video I won't have time to do it. But this car could accelerate to a massive 200 miles an hour. Now, it could not hold that 200 miles an hour through that corner. I don't think anything could. But it could carry about 110 through the corner, and then this is where it lost a lot of its time. I kind of outbrought myself, and I had to keep it in its higher gears, or I can't remember if I kept it in its high gears or just throttle controlled it, but it didn't get through its lap very, very quickly. Now, the lap time the Koenigsegg 1-1 got was a 2:14.730, putting it into first position, which is miles down, miles in front of 10th. But anyway, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. We'll be covering more cars in the future. Anyway, that's it from me, TMD's Hyper, signing out.